Welcome to the introductory session on the framework for equity research, a Wall Street perspective. This Harvard Business School case-based session is designed for final year MBA students and graduates seeking a career in financial services industry, specifically in the field of equity research and valuation consultancy. Graduate level finance and accounting course such as managerial finance or financial accounting or corporate finance is required to fully understand the session. The session will provide a strong base for successfully completing our flagship program on the art and science of equity research, a Wall Street perspective. Before we embark on an equity research assignment, participants are required to understand the framework for the real-world equity research work. This introductory session on equity research will briefly cover the following important areas. Understand the basics of capital market. Learn the corporate finance basics, which includes the time value of money, risk versus reward, present and discount value concept, and net present value. Select a specific company in an industry that you're familiar with or you have expertise in. Conduct due diligence work in terms of understanding the industry structure and its attractiveness. Gather financial information such as annual and quarterly report. Gather insights on its customers. Interview key executives and collect guidelines, financial data for the purpose of creating the income model. Learn the company fundamentals, its leadership and corporate culture, strategic objectives, etc. Assess the financial reporting strategies and quality of earnings. Conduct financial statement analysis and forecast core financial statements such as balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow statements for at least 3 years and build a stable terminal model. Perform free cash flow analysis and conduct valuation analysis, which includes the calculation of intrinsic value using free cash flow discount model, valuation analysis such as price to earnings ratios, price to sales, price to book value, enterprise value, and so on. And make valuation opinion and investment recommendations. Finally, we introduce a risk-reward framework structured by Morgan Stanley Research, which will provide an innovative approach to equity analysis, understand the role of sell-side analysts, and how their research is used by various constituents such as investment bankers, investors, traders, analysts, mutual fund institutions, etc. Since our program on equity research follows a participant-centered teaching and learning method to instill the real global perspective, the program covers several cases relevant for the valuation task. The course will be taught in the form of several lectures together with case studies intended for in-class discussion. These lectures will cover all theories and concepts relevant for fully understanding the case that will help the participants learn the art of conducting a real-world equity research. The case study methodology is adopted throughout the case, in which participants will undergo case analysis that serves to instill the habits of thought, different ways of breaking down problem situations, the ability to reason analytically about each case, constructively draw conclusions and develop a plan of action, and make prudent investment decisions. Participants will be given the case in advance to be prepared for discussion in the class, and the bulk of the speaking is done by the participants as groups, bringing the individual experience and their understanding of the relevant concepts learned in the course. Participants in the groups are encouraged to role play with members of other groups to make the discussions more fun and engaging. There will be group case write-ups to be submitted before the class begins. The individual contribution to the case write-up is evaluated based on peer evaluations. Furthermore, there will be quizzes on the concepts covered in the class or assigned readings to hone in on the concepts and tools required for analyzing a case. The evaluation process includes a final exam that will cover all the concepts and tools discussed in the class and an actual case analysis. Participants are expected to go through all the essential readings before coming to the class. So I just want to introduce our case methodology. This brief session will cover how you do a case analysis. So actually, what is a case? Case is a verbal representation of the reality. It brings the real world situation into the classroom and how you deal with uncertainty. So the case without a significant issue has no educational value. The case method packs more information into every hour of learning than any other instructional approach. That is why it forms the basis of learning at business schools around the world. So the key to understand a business problem is to recognize its patterns, and that means you need the judgment and experience for recognizing that patterns. That is the very core of managerial success. The case teaching makes the knowledge of the whole class. Case discussion transfers experience-based knowledge, and the students can learn from each other by bringing their collective experience to solve a real-world problem, by arguing it, shaping it, discussing it, whole host of stuff you do in the class, to gain a total good insights into the problem. Case teaching differs, actually gives you, the case teaching surfaces the problem, the depth of the problems in many alternative perspectives and solutions, and deeply more extensively than. Okay, I just want to introduce the case-based discussions and how you analyze a case. So what is actually a case? A case is a verbal representation of reality. In other words, it brings real-world experience into the classroom. And most or almost all cases have real significant business problems. Without that, it has no educational value. The case method packs more experience into every hour of learning than any other instructional approach that we use. That is why it is the basis of learning at all business schools around the world these days. Case teaching makes the knowledge of the whole class. It brings experience-based knowledge into the classroom. The students learn not only from the teacher but from each other by bringing their collective experience to solve a problem, by discussing it, arguing about it, role-playing it, so on and so forth. Case teaching surfaces the depth of the problems and many alternative perspectives and solutions more deeply than a single instructor can do. So it serves distinct roles. The case method is an approach to learning that encourages students to extract useful lessons from the experience of others. I mentioned that before. It provides a simulated business environment, real business world, and learn to take a position, bringing students close to the real world situations and put yourself in the shoes of a protagonist, those business owners, the managers or executives who have real business problems. And you develop judgment and enhance your learning. You learn to apply your theories into the practical situations. It also trains the students not just for finding a solution, but helps to understand the depth of the business problems and formulate alternative perspectives. The very art of listening to the ideas of others and having their ideas listened to in the classroom highlights the importance of individual and emphasize the team effort. How you build the team spirit within the classroom and take criticism from each other constructively. It helps students develop the diagnostic skills in a world where markets and technologies are constantly changing. The purpose of business education is to teach men to think in the presence of new situations. So you take what you learn now in the classrooms or elsewhere and see how you can apply when you have a new situation emerges. Problems. So the case discussion helps students develop the persuasive skills. It's an art. How you work with the others, how you become human, how you interact with others and help them. Those persuasive skills can be built by discussing actual cases in the classroom and take active roles in it. This also gives you distinctive ways of thinking and acting. The case system puts the students in the habit of making decisions, right? So it is the base of action. It will give you the courage to take actions under enormous uncertainty that we face. That is part of the corporate leadership. So it also helps you to develop that risk-taking attitude, willingness to take risk. And that risk always, which has limited business knowledge, right? The case itself has limited information because it depicts the real business world. We don't have all information there. Now, the two ways of learning, content and process. What to teach, how to teach. So, which blade is more important? You cannot do without the other. You need the content and process. 3 ways to learn. The content I said here is concepts and tools, question assumptions. We always build assumptions, things will be in a business world, okay? Let's make these decisions based on assumptions about the customer response or customer is going to behave, and then make decisions on it. The third thing is learn about yourself. High achievers always try to learn about themselves, what exactly motivates you. And you're managing people or students, there's no carrot and stick approach, it's more participatory. This is learning to take or make decisions. So you prepare to learn from each other. That's what we are here. Analyze the situational factors. Start debating the case. And create a dynamic process in the class where students are pushed to learn at the extreme. And then you make a decision whether you will do A or B. The pros and cons of A and B, you should be able to explain it, why that is A, why B. And finally take a decision. Someone says, I'll take a stand, which is I will do A. The role of the teacher, as I said, the participant-centered teaching is not precision-centered teaching. It is transferring knowledge, yes. Can we transfer skill by lecture? No. Need practice. So the whole purpose of our exercise here is not to build experience, but to build the skills, employable skills. Either you build, better skill set to understand the problem, solve problem, engage with people, making decisions, taking risks, or host of stuff. And there is an actual student-teacher relationship, which effective participation of students is required, and establish an explicit contract when I say that you expect me to perform certain things in the class for you to learn, and we expect, the teacher expect you to learn, come in the class prepared, discuss it. So that is the contract. This process is more important for nurturing the relationship. And because students' development is so important, the teacher and classroom experience has such a tremendous impact. Action-driven analysis, that is, if a student has made a decision about what to do, the instructor always focus on supporting analysis with questions like, what would you do? What evidence supports that approach? Those type of things. In the case analysis that you're going to go through, you'll have certain, theme or assignment questions, and we'll keep on asking why you do that, why you do this, and why you do that, all that stuff. 4 P's of students' involvement in the classroom: preparation, your presence, promptness, participation. A great case class, and you should be passionate about it.